10 freeway right there as we're making our way under it. Is he going to try to get back on? Yeah, he missed the on-ramp. So, you know, you'll have other opportunities. But as far as it's going, we're staying on the surface streets right now. California Highway Patrol picked it up. They're going to try to bring this thing to an end. You know, it's going to be a tough one. It really will. I wonder if LAPD might break out the spike strips, kind of do a coordinated, you know, he was going south on Alameda for a good amount of time, but it does definitely seem like this is more showboating for this guy than anything else. Continuing with the hand signals out the window, if that's a sign language, we can call it that. But slow going, kind of almost taunting officers, and then, like you said, speeds up, kind of makes those, you know, hard turns on that steering wheel, back and forth, twitching, and then like just kind of just rolling around down there. As far as law enforcement, like I said, I don't think California Highway Patrol is going to block this person in. I don't think that's part of their policy, especially when it comes to a pursuit in a heavy vehicle like that. As far as it goes right now, very slow moving. Downtown Los Angeles, we're going to be in the very industrial part of downtown. Is that a plus or a minus? I can't really say. All these other vehicles around them, they don't know what's going on. This could turn very quickly, though. There's always that. This, you know, it just puts his foot in it, and it could become a totally different situation. Right now, it looks like we're moving along and continuing on. I believe we're going to be on Olympic. And we'll see where this takes us, Araxia. Yeah, looks like it's a bag, some wood. There might be something. Yeah, it might be just you know, they wrap something in some tarp or something like that. At first, I thought that was a horse on the window. You know, it did come out of Fontana. I thought maybe this was a ranch vehicle. Yeah, it looks more like a dog, but it's continuing on. And again, I would venture to say this guy just taunting. This is kind of like a taunt. This is you know. Yes, definitely. There's no doubt about that. But again, we can't say. You know, you just don't know. But I would venture to say maybe not in the right state of mind for driving a vehicle. Also, it's like you got to think to yourself, what state of mind do you have to be in to take somebody's vehicle and then get into a pursuit? So, you know, whatever that state of mind is, clearly we're witnessing it right now. California Highway Patrol right behind them. Lights and sirens probably helpful to any of these folks that are on the roadway. At least they know some kind of emergency is happening. This vehicle moving 57, I'm venturing to say, on Olympic Boulevard. Well, now we're dropping back down again. But at any rate, he's kind of blending with traffic. So that portion makes it a little bit more difficult for people on the roadway down there. The only plus I can say is pretty much at every one of these red lights, he has stopped. And those are the ones that I always worry about when you go through those intersections. Even if you're just going, you know, 40 or 30 through an intersection, if it's a green light for somebody else, of course they're going to be looking, but do you think somebody's just going to go cruising through there? Probably not. And that's where we see a lot of these accidents, and that's where we see a lot of injuries to civilians or people that are just on the roadway. And I always worry when we go through that. But it does seem like this guy has continually stopped at every red light, which is a plus, but then he goes into the wrong side of the road. He's doing it again right now, just probably trying to get up ahead, or, yeah, you got some slower vehicles in a little bit of almost a standoff. Yeah. Yeah, he very well could. I mean, just because it started in Fontana doesn't mean that this person isn't from Los Angeles. We're making our way back into Boyle Heights, again, staying on Olympic Boulevard. I know it's going to get a lot more busier. I'm not going to lose the car, but you definitely got somebody down there on a cell phone. And, you know, that type of stuff is pretty much frowned upon by all law enforcement. They don't like it when the public starts really getting involved, especially down there on the ground. Everybody seems to think like this is kind of like an event, but you just don't know who this person is. You don't know. Maybe just because we didn't see a gun doesn't mean he doesn't have a gun. Doesn't mean that he might not choose to or not see you if you walk up to the truck. There's a lot of stuff going on. All law enforcement, I've always said, they do not want the public's help when it comes to like an actual pursuit. Of course, if he's out running, please, by all means, point it out. Say there's a guy hiding underneath a bush over there or whatever it might be. But during the chase, they definitely don't need anybody out there, especially not with their cell phones and trying to get in the way of what is going on, because you just don't know what the mindset is of that guy behind the wheel of that vehicle that is fleeing from law enforcement. Looks like we're making a hard turn here. Are we going to get... Now it looks like we made a turn on the Telegraph, so that's going to be the 5 freeway down there. Maybe we're going to get back on the freeway. We'll find out here in just a few moments. Yeah, and that's you know, that's a plus, I guess. But it also kind of leads me to believe that I'm going to put, if it was, I'm going to put my money on does not know exactly where he is, because he's staying on all these major arteries. He hasn't gotten into any neighborhoods. If this person was going to flee or had a plan, like usually we see them get into a neighborhood, you know, jump out of the car, run through some backyards. We haven't seen any of that. Right now, Telegraph, anybody that knows this area, major artery out here. We're going to be, if we continue this way, we're going to be getting very close to, look, he's got both hands out the window again. And a cell phone. What? Oh, it's a drink. Yeah, look at that. He's got a Stanley Cup. All right. Oh, I thought you were going to say you might not be a Stanley Cup. Anyways, yeah, definitely. It might not have been. Might have been inside that vehicle when he took it. But at any rate, definitely this is a lot of showboating. This is a lot of you know, come and get me type of attitude, which is not what law enforcement wants to see. Making his way through a very industrial area over here. There's been a couple of opportunities to get onto the freeway. We haven't seen him do that yet. But then as soon as I say it, Araxia, maybe no. Nope. And we're continuing on. Now we're going to be, clearly you can see it. I was just going to say we're making our way back over to East Los Angeles. And again, law enforcement, California Highway Patrol, they're tasked with bringing this thing to an end safely. I'm curious why they haven't done a pit maneuver yet. I would venture to say a truck like that, even though it is a 2500, if you get, you know, that light bed on the back there, if it's done right, I venture to say it will spin around. It definitely would. But then again, I'm just a guy in the back of a helicopter watching the pursuit with everybody else. Let's take a peek. Yes, there they are. There they are, right there. CHP. Yep, right there. Yep, right behind them. And I would vent. Go ahead. Oh my goodness. Yeah, sometime in, well, no, we were in the air about noon. We've probably been on this a solid 60 minutes, and but the pursuit itself probably been going on longer than that, because it was going for a few moments before we got there. So we've probably been over for more than probably 45 minutes. I'm getting an official 45 minutes right now, officially, but. Close to an hour. Yep, definitely. And California Highway Patrol, they're right behind them again. You know, it's like I said, I'm curious why they're not, you know, just going to try to get up behind there and just tap that bumper, as it would be, and try to get this thing to spin around. That would definitely at least get that guy's attention. I don't think he doesn't know that law enforcement's behind him. I'm pretty sure he knows. But as far as him slowing down or stopping and just bringing this to an end, haven't seen that as of yet. Right. Definitely. Definitely. That's the one positive that's been going on this since we started this this adventure is he has been moving relatively slowly the entire time. When we were on the freeway, you know, it was light traffic to say the least, and he wasn't excessively speeding. He wasn't up into the triple digits. Haven't seen the triple digits at all. Somebody might say, oh, that truck, believe me, that diesel can easily get into the triple digits. But it's so not really driving very aggressively, just kind of annoying with those starts and stops and, you know, moving that steering wheel back and forth erratically. As far as the California Highway Patrol, that was the closest I saw them get just a few moments ago. I was wondering if they were going to do something. I did see that sheriff's vehicle in the shot. I was wondering if maybe they were doing a deployment of spike strips. I didn't see that at all, and I haven't heard it either. But right now, continuing on, still staying in the East Los Angeles, Southgate area. And again, luckily to say, look at that. Pretty light traffic, and keeps going by the freeway and doesn't seem to be making any effort to get onto the freeway. I think this is really truly one of those ones where this guy has kind of resolved himself to the fact that when this is over, he's going to go into cuffs. He's going to be going into cuffs. Oh, what's going on here? What? I don't know. Okay, I wasn't sure. He had the deck lit up. I was wondering maybe he was pulling out the spike strips, but I definitely didn't see any. But looks like they are starting to coordinate some kind of plan to basically use some intervention, as it would be, to bring this to an end. Spike strips, perhaps. We haven't seen any attempt at a pit, so that is. I'm venturing to say we're probably not going to see that. But maybe we're going to see a spike strips deployment here in a moment or two, if they can get somebody that can be in the right place at the right time. That's always the difficult part. But if he stays on these long straightaways, you know, now we're on Atlantic. If he stays on Atlantic long enough, somebody could get ahead of him and possibly be able to just deploy those spike strips. Look at this, look at this, look at this. Oh, look at that. They were basically saying, hey, let me help you out. Let me get you out of the way. Just so you know, I did lose the IFB Aroxia. I'm going to try to get that back. I'm going to hand it to you just for a few moments, and I'll let you know when I can hear you again. Oh, it's back. Never. Definitely, and Whittier Boulevard. You know, I drive this street at least twice a month, and it's a great ride to go through a lot of little towns out here, a lot of stuff to see, and the one thing I always have to say, no matter what time, it's always got traffic, and there is a lot of pedestrian activity out here as well. This is kind of like small town East Los Angeles, and you definitely are seeing a lot of that extra traffic out there, like you said. And even though he's been driving slow, somebody might, just not be aware and make a turn or get out in front of him. Just, don't want to see any of that at all. You guys just saw the sign right there for Whittier Boulevard in East LA. But yeah, definitely getting into an area that's denser, more populated, also with pedestrians. I don't want to see anything like that. But the lights and sirens from the California Highway Patrol probably definitely going to be warning anybody that's in that area what's going on. And hopefully they're going to get that heads up and take the proper action. Actually, we're moving out of the Whittier, out of that area, making our way into East LA proper right there. So it's going to be a little bit less of that, but then it's going to get busy again here in just a moment or two. Now using that center lane again, but those speeds, 50, it's still dangerous. It still could that could be deadly. Yep. You know what, have not sat in on a briefing and have not been brought up on exact protocol, but I can tell you from watching and trying to understand what's going on, I'm going to give you the Stu take on what I think the difference is. When they go into tracking mode, that's usually when there's an aircraft overhead. So there'd be a helicopter up above, so they're going to go into tracking mode, and that would mean that the officers on the ground completely back off. The thinking or the logic or the reasoning behind it is that the lights and sirens and the fact that you have law enforcement right behind that vehicle is agitating the driver, as it should, in my opinion. But nobody's asking that. But so that the lights and sirens are causing the pursuit or causing this vehicle to flee. So what they do is they say, all right, escalation, yes. Definitely. So they tell the guys on the ground, the cars, turn off your lights and sirens, back off, so that the suspect can't see you in the rearview mirror. And we're going to follow him in the aircraft and constantly give you updates on where he is. You guys can go on parallel streets. You can stay nearby if it does come to a stop. But, the idea is to make it less dangerous, to have that driver of the vehicle be less agitated. But in this case, I would venture to say this is still a full-on pursuit. Those units down there, lights and sirens. It's still going down there, so the people in the area definitely know what's going on. I can tell you we're probably coming up to Pioneer Chicken here in a moment or two, and if he stays on this, it's going to be quite a sight. We're going to have a pursuit on the 6th Street Bridge, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. Like you or Roxy, it seems like whenever I say something like that, so it makes a turn and turns out to be something completely different. But I know for a fact if he stays on this road, we're going to be on 6th Street here in just a moment. And going across the bridge, we'll see what happens right there. Probably not going to do a pit maneuver there, even though it's wide open. But again, safety is the biggest concern. Safety is what all law enforcement is concerned about. And yeah, we're gonna lose him there for a moment or two. Dylan is dealing with other traffic in the area, law enforcement and other helicopters. But we're going to stay with it for sure and keep an eye on it. But let's see where he goes. We're going to be making our way over to 6th Street Bridge here in just a moment or two. Yes. Yes, definitely. And, you know, I think law enforcement, depending on the crime, there's also that also weighs into all of this. You know, in this case, the vehicle has been stolen. You know, so if this gets into a situation where the suspect, quote unquote, gets away, but the vehicle is recovered and nobody is injured, you know, I think that's still a win. That's still a little win for LAPD. There's Pioneer Chicken right there, one of the last ones in Southern California, like I said. And we're going to continue on. So another block or two, and we're going to be on 6th Street Bridge. Had a pedestrian going across there. Don't know if that, I should have stayed a little bit wider. Don't know if there was maybe the pedestrian had something to say right there as well. But definitely one of these situations where a lot of the folks on the ground clearly know this is happening. Seen a lot of people coming out with cell phones and had their cell phones out just to get that picture. I think this is that's the last intersection. And now we're going to make our way across that 6th Street Bridge. You know, the bridge is iconic for sure. The pursuit, this one maybe not as iconic as we like. But like you said, you know, depending upon what the crime is, if this guy gets away this time and the truck gets recovered, nobody gets injured, I would still consider that a win for law enforcement. But I know a couple of law enforcement guys, and some of them, if they're not putting the bracelets on the suspect, it isn't a win. And so, you know, but again, they got to weigh it out. You know, this is a carjacking. Nobody was injured in the beginning. We haven't heard of any. No man. Yeah, right. So just getting the vehicle back, that'd be a plus. That would be, and also keeping the public safe. So at any rate, we made our way over that 6th Street Bridge, making our way into downtown Los Angeles. Well, what are we doing here? Are we going to make a U-turn? Maybe he's wanted to pick somebody up. I don't know. She clearly had no interest. But anyways, go ahead. True. We don't know. You know, a big diesel like that with the gas prices right now, you wonder if it was full. But if it was, this thing could go quite a distance, I would venture to say. Getting a little bit more traffic. We're in the Arts District right here. Going to get a little bit tighter. And he's going to have to make a turn here, right or left, coming up, because this street becomes a T intersection in just a moment or two. And we'll see what's he doing right there? Is he? No, I don't know. Yeah, making the signs again. You got somebody out there with a cell phone. But look at law enforcement. You know, that's another one. It's like every time this thing comes to a stop, they got to get the doors open. They got to get ready to do their thing. They got to pounce. They got to pounce when the pouncing's available. Well, because one, that wouldn't spin it around. If they would get behind it right there and just kind of bump it, it would not spin it around. It would just kind of block it in. And again, that's agitating the driver. And I know that's kind of a no-no when it comes to pursuits. If this guy would come around in the front and just block him in, so many times have I sat there with folks and they're like, "Why aren't they just blocking him in?" Yeah, that's the voice they make. But that's the thing. You can't. You can't. You just can't do it. It's that officer probably would get reprimanded harshly for making a move like that, even if it was successful. I'm not sure. I was thinking the same thing. This is where he's coming up. He's got to make a right or a left. But yep, there he goes. He made a right turn because otherwise he would have been going into oncoming traffic. So there we go. We're making that turn again. We're off and on, and here we're going again. And yeah, we're back on Alameda. No, we're Central. We're on Central right now. But we're heading back kind of where we started when we got off the freeway. So we're headed back up towards the 101, northbound on Central. And again, lucky to say, light traffic, lucky to say this guy is not aggressively angry. He isn't driving like, threatening other drivers. He's communicating the best he can to other folks down there. And as far as what was going on right there, there might have been somebody else, maybe over by the wall. We couldn't get that shot. Believe me, if Dylan could have gotten it, we would have gotten it. There's no doubt about it. But we have to be safe up here in Skyfox too. But you know, a lot of folks out there with cell phones. We did see that one guy holding that cell phone up. Maybe it was just for that. But right now, definitely in downtown. And it's going to start getting a little bit more crowded as we're making our way back over towards the 101. Edge of the Arts District, downtown Los Angeles. And, this is going to, yep. Now we're going to be making our way into even a more crowded area and see if we can get Skyfox positioned correctly. Yeah, it's going to be definitely. And you got some people on the rooftops looking at what's going on down there. Yep. True. Definitely. Definitely. I haven't seen a cell phone on him the entire time. Let me get a little bit of a wider shot. I'm not sure if we're in the Japanese. Yeah, we're getting towards the Japanese Village area, and at least it isn't in the district. I mean, this is a district, but I was thinking more like the Fabric District or the down in that area. Ooh, there, where are we going now? Making another northbound turn. Going to have the DoubleTree is going to be in the way, but. Definitely could make his way back to the freeway right there. I hope he does. They don't try to do some kind of pit maneuver now all of a sudden now that we can't see him. But, keep coming around, keep coming around, keep coming around. No shucks. I don't know if he went straight or if he made – there he is, thank goodness. I wasn't sure if he made a turn or not. There he goes. We're back. And, yep, definitely look, so – wider streets, that's a big plus as we make our way back up towards the 101 right now. But definitely, and yep. Definitely driving in circles. You have a little bit of a protest right there. That's going to be the federal building. He did slow down, probably reading the signs, and can check out what's going on and continuing on. California Highway Patrol, you know, this is one of the things, too. It's you got to think, it's like we're watching this. You know, am I a little, not frustrated, but it's like, you know, come on already. You know, but you got to think what is the law enforcement doing down there, and how they have to constantly be professional, stay with it. Of course, you know, we're just watching it. They are in it. They are part of it. You know, we're watching the pursuit. They are the pursuit. And they've got to keep everybody safe. And this is a daunting task. And I could venture to say it's probably getting a little bit, it's going to wear on them. They're going to start getting exhausted down there. You know, he's not just driving. He's probably making radio calls as he's driving. He's keeping, you know, scanning, making sure that there are no pedestrians in the way, looking for opportunities clearly as well. And, you know, opportunity to pit. I don't think they can. They probably have been told not to. That's going to be my guess, because they have not seen that that happen at all. I'm just double checking right there. Yeah, I thought so. Fontana PD's been trailing behind this the entire time as well. I'm sure everybody involved, all those professionals down there, are probably sitting there going, come on already. And you know, Roxia, you did hit on a very right thing. This guy, he probably knows he is just going to wind up in cuffs and going back to jail. And, you know, so every moment he's free, every moment, you know, he's driving that truck and not in cuffs, he's looking at it like, hey, I'm winning right now. as far as, this whole like stopping again. And I know you're going to ask, so let's take a look around while he stays, while he stopped. I don't see anybody down there. I really don't. I kind of wonder who he's making these signs to. Maybe it's this guy, but definitely. Definitely talking to this guy. Yeah, I would venture to say this person probably has the window down. Let's see if we can see. I can't see anything in the rearview mirror. What was that? Did he? Uh-oh. Maybe he's counseling. Maybe he's just saying, hey, why didn't you just pull over, buddy? No, clearly the advice. Yeah, clearly it was not the advice you wanted to hear. Yep. And we don't want to, and honestly, don't want to see that. Don't want to see that. I don't want to see this guy speed up and do something that's, going to hurt somebody else, going to hurt himself, damage that vehicle, any of it. Even if they have insurance, which I'm sure they do. Here you go. So maybe he has a little bit of, no, he doesn't. These guys clearly not interacting with him, but he's definitely trying to interact with them. Welcome to my world, buddy. Welcome to my world. Sure. Hang on. No. Actually, his stop and start is what's making it difficult. It's not the movement. It's the swerving that gets me. There we go. Here we go again. So, but you also got to think LAPD. They got to know this. They definitely know this is going on. I am sure they've all been advised not to get involved. Hey, I'm going to ask Dylan here. Dylan, is it LAPD, the helicopter, involved in this? It's okay. Yeah. So basically, what's going on? I just got an intense briefing from Dylan, quick and appropriate, like it should be. He basically said that the Ontario ship that's has been over it with us this entire time, basically has another 20 minutes of fuel left, and he's going to stay here with it for those 20 minutes of fuel, and then hand it off to LAPD, which is they are here, but not involved in the actual pursuit as of yet. So as soon as he's got to go for fuel, they will the handoff will be done and they will take it over. But getting a little bit more agitated, a little bit more aggressive in that driving right there. But as far as him stopping, haven't seen that. Now clearly we're definitely back in the Arts District. I know this area very well. The traffic's probably going to get a little tighter. The streets are definitely going to get a little narrower. And again, there's going to be more people out on the roadway, physical pedestrians, which is also scary. Continuing to going on the wrong side of the road there, isn't he? Yeah, no, he's not. He was? Okay. But anyway, there we go. He's coming back out. And, yeah. At least he's slowing down every time he sees a vehicle and every time he comes to a red light. That's the only positive. But he did run that stop sign. Solid. So, California rule. Yeah, officers don't they don't approve. They do not approve. On this one, that's something else, Roxy. People ask that all the time. It's like, is he going to get charged with every traffic infraction? No, I heard that he does. That it's just the big one. It's just the big one. It's just the. They might note every one of them, but as far as him getting prosecuted by everyone, that I doubt it. I think it's just going to be straight out. Probably the carjacking. That's probably going to be the big one, and then everything else is going to be failure to yield, and or obstructing justice, or whatever one that holds more weight. But as far as this guy goes, who knows? Got some other guys out there kind of keeping an eye on what's going on. But look how tight these streets are down there. This is what I'm talking about. And yeah, and these people are trying to get out of the way. Like they hear the lights and sirens. They're trying to do the right thing. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. This is even if they had the okay to pit, they would not do it right there. And as far as me wondering about him taunting law enforcement, he's definitely taunting law enforcement. You saw him just stop right there in front of that CHP vehicle, and so that's definitely him basically saying, nah, you can't get me. But ultimately, he's got to know that he's going to get got, and hopefully it's not going to be with any kind of injuries to him or anybody else that might be involved. Yep. Yep. Definitely makes them more dangerous. And just having that mindset makes it very dangerous. And these are the things that law enforcement deals with all of the time. They realize that these are the people that they come across, probably more so than you and I. And they have to realize that that's kind of their mindset. It's like, okay, I'm going to go to jail. While you and I would be like devastated. But at any rate, this is one of those ones. That truck is the problem. That big truck, that heavy vehicle, and him continuing to drive it around, even though he's seemingly slow, still very erratic, still could become something very dangerous very quickly. And this is the thing. Remember these so often. And they're easy, it's low-hanging fruit sometimes to poke fun at them. But you also have to realize this could turn tragic in a blink of an eye. And, you just don't want that to happen. And luckily this hasn't, and hopefully this won't. But the vehicle hasn't stopped yet. And every time we get close to other cars, every time we come up to an intersection, every time we, pull up to somebody and there's that interaction, you just don't know. Maybe somebody's going to say something that really upsets that guy, and and he lashes out, and this becomes something entirely different. And that's what we always worry about when we watch these things. And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of that might have been. Here we go. This one, clearly a red light as that guy's slamming on the brakes. Yep. Definitely. Yep. Yep. And you and I both probably. I mean, I drive early morning to get to work. And, there's pretty much nobody on the roads. And I take a lot of streets before I get to the freeway. And I got to tell you, I always, even if it's green, you always slow down. You're always kind of looking. You're always making sure. I'm looking more for animals than people. But you just got to wonder. Somebody might be, speeding through, running a red light. And I don't want to be the one to find out that it's his bad day. So making my day a bad day, too. Yeah, but as far as this guy goes, let's keep with him. And, again, back with us swerving back and forth. And where are we going now? Oh, freeway. Yep. Eastbound 10? Oh, come on. You can't tell me he's going back to Fontana. We don't have fuel for Fontana. Come on, man. We don't have fuel for. Yes, yes. So let's see where he goes. Oh, I know this on-ramp. He's got the choice of the 60 over here, too. Yeah, so keeping on with the keeping on, but now he's getting back up onto the freeway. He rolled up the window. That's something new. Yeah, he has an opportunity to get on the 60. Yeah, definitely. And we'll see which one he picks right here. I think this is also an off-ramp again as well. But he's got many options if he gets back onto that interchange. Oh, looks like we are going to be... No, I think he's going to get back off the freeway. I'm saying that because I'm hoping he gets back on the freeway. Now he's getting back off the freeway. There we go. Yep, there we go. Santa Fe. Rhyme to read. Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. And again, you... Yes. That for real, I would venture to say, is the plan. I really truly believe it, and I don't mean it in any kind of put down. It's that is the plan. That's probably the safest action that they can take with the best outcome. I don't know if the pit maneuver is, basically frowned upon because of the size of the vehicle, or if somebody, one of their bosses or, a sergeant, whoever it might be, said, no, we're just not going to do it, or possibly they don't have, you have to be, pit approved, meaning you've got to go to classes. It isn't like they just say, okay, go do this. Maybe none of those officers down there are pit approved. But you'd think by this time that they would have been able to get somebody that is pit approved into the rotation and make that happen. So again, this just continues on. We're definitely getting a tour of the downtown East LA areas for sure today. Now that's the Sears Soto building. Yep, it is. And making our way through Boyle Heights again, I would venture to say. Central City is what they're calling it. But yeah, we're going to be we're just south of Boyle Heights, cutting across, wrong side of the road, making a slow decision, but it looks like we're going to be turning up and heading over towards the Boyle Heights area. Again, you got to wonder. I would venture to say that officer that's in that lead vehicle with the K9, he's probably chomping at the bit and wondering why he can't do that pit maneuver. But right now, like you've been saying, this has all been let's see where this goes. Look at the kids down there going by a school. Everybody's running to see the pursuit. Yeah. Oh, don't tell me that, Dylan. We have roughly, I'm going to say maybe, oh, here we go. See, they listen to us. They totally listened to, yep, they listen to us. They listen to us. They are totally listening to us. Look at that. Oh, that was like a ballet. That was so smooth. No. Oh, no. And not under a tree. Don't. All right, here we go. I was so proud of him. I was so proud. So let's see what happens now. Now that we've seen it, the suspect, cat's out of the bag, So the suspect knows that's it. That's a possibility. It's a possibility that might happen again. Let's see where he goes. Are they going to do it again? Most likely. It's just where it can. Yeah, it has to be this, that. Yeah, it has to be. Everything's got to be clear. They got to be and nobody else around and a certain speed. But boy, that Tahoe, yeah, he's got some damage now. But CHP, they're my heroes. They really are. But anyway, so back on the bridge, probably not going to do it here. But boy, what a great job that was. That was really, really sweet. Yeah. Did a little damage to the truck. There's the California Highway Patrol helicopter. Oh, was that Ontario? That was still Ontario. That was Ontario PD. But we'll probably have another 15 to 20 on station before we have to peel off to go and get some of that Jet A. And believe me when I tell you, even though this is, I'm invested. I'm definitely invested now, especially with that pit maneuver. I want to see this come to an end as much as the law enforcement does. They're keeping their distance again. They're waiting for that right moment, and it has to really be no other vehicles around, and wide enough street, probably near an intersection. There's a lot of things have to happen to make that happen. Going underneath the 10, and as far as the driver of that car, like I said, now he kind of knows. Now he kind of knows. It's when he taunts them and he drives slow, he realizes there's a possibility that there might be another pit maneuver. Let's see what's going on down there. Yeah, they're not going to do it with all these cars right there. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like he's got a pretty good push bar, but definitely is going to have some paint swaps and some damage to the pickup truck. Hopefully the driver has full coverage insurance. But again, it's one of those ones. It's like, were we expect? I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was just going to come to an end. Yeah, that driver understands the Prindle. Prindle being the gear shift. Oh, look at the damage on the truck. Yeah, he's going to need a new bed for sure. Yeah. Slowing down again. Now he's back to that whole taunt. Clearly talking to somebody. Got to get his message out. And okay. So, and just for... Not that it really affects us personally, but the helicopters are definitely swapping out now. LAPD is going to be the ones calling the pursuit from now on in. And again, this is just not the spot where they can get up behind him there and do that pit, because there's just so many other vehicles nearby. Look at this guy. It's like, hey, I got places to be. I got my cell phone out. I got my picture. I'm gonna make it on the. That's just somebody with a cell phone that basically drove by the officers to get the shot. There you go. Yeah. I wonder if not smart at all. And as far as California Highway Patrol goes, they probably are just like, they got bigger fish to fry right now. But not what they want to see. And it just continues on. Yep, more of the same. Yep. Simon Desk also asking me what our fuel situation is. Yep. Yeah, maybe a solid 15 now. Getting back on the freeway. Yep. Right. Yeah, the truck's seems to have plenty of fuel. And as far as the pit goes on the freeway, that one I don't think is going to happen. Yeah, I've seen it one time. Yeah, I actually saw that one time, and it was crazy. And it was LAPD. But at any rate, now they've swapped it out. You've got a straight-out cruiser. You don't have the big SUV anymore. Lights and sirens for sure. At least everybody down there knows. And that one is definitely going to. Which one is that? Oh, that's the Ontario police ship. They're about to leave. That's what I've been told. They're on their way out. And there is our pursuit right there. So that's the Ontario ship that's been over it pretty much as long as we've been over it. They were how we found it. And we made, heads up was from our assignment desk, and then but then that helicopter is how we actually found it. But again, moving pretty slow down there. The cruiser probably not going to be doing a pit maneuver. And it looks like we're transitioning onto the 5. Is that the 5 freeway? Or the 60? The 60. We're making back onto the 60 right now. Yeah. Maybe. I think the SUV would be better at it just because of the size and the traction. But those cruisers are more than capable, trust me. And with that big push bar, they're safe. Oh, made a little bit of a he must have heard us talking about the 5. He changed his mind right there. Well, now we're on the 5. So, and in a lot of traffic, as I understand it. Dylan is telling me that it is not going anywhere fast. So we're going to probably be sitting there in traffic again. California Highway Patrol tasked with bringing this guy to a safe end. Carjacking in Fontana, that's where it all started. And a lot of freeway driving, but then again, we did a lot of urban driving down in the Boyle Heights, East LA, downtown Los Angeles, and some other of the districts out there. But again, have not been able to bring this thing to a stop. And all this traffic, it's probably just going to be frustrating for law enforcement, frustrating probably for us as well. But the drivers around them all doing what they're supposed to do. It's kind of interesting. They're probably hearing those lights and sirens, people trying to move out of the way. This guy is stopping, which is predictable. That's what law enforcement wants you to do, something that is predictable. It's got a big open area right there, but probably not. And again, these guys, these law enforcement, they are trained. They are looking for the opportunity, that's for sure. And they're also looking for it has to be safe. That's it. It has to be safe. And will they do it again? Probably. If they did it once, they'll probably do it again. Seeing this guy, look at him getting all antsy right there. I don't blame him. I really don't blame him. As far as law enforcement, no, they haven't done. There's a little bit of a traffic break behind them, so these officers are going to basically just kind of drive the speed. I mean, they're following behind, so it's like a rolling roadblock. But that driver has the ability to catch up to the pack, and that's what it seems like is happening again right now. Is like they're catching up to these. He's speeding up a little bit, getting back up into traffic. Everybody's trying to get out of the way. But yeah, it's like this is so frustrating. Now it's getting frustrating for me knowing that the clock is running. And like I said, I'm invested. I want to see this thing come to an end just like everybody else. California Highway Patrol, they're paid to bring this thing to an end and safely. But right now, though, this is we're just going to kind of run that clock out, keep an eye on them as long as we can. Dylan is definitely going to keep us safe. If we go past that 15-minute mark, it's because he knows what he's doing and making plans to get us the fuel that we need. As far as somebody else coming to relieve us, that might be happening, though. I mean, as far as coverage goes, you guys might, Roxy, you might, you Right. right? And I think our PM shift might be arriving and taking over. That's what I was thinking. So that it'll still be streaming somewhere, but sad to say I won't be over it watching it. I mean, I might be watching it because, like I said, I've gotten invested. You've gotten my attention. I want to see this thing end just like everybody else does. But as far as this guy goes. How does this guy not have carpal tunnel syndrome? I mean, my gosh, I could not move my hands that much, that long. He should have been a pianist or something. Anyways, and so. Roxy, it was fun. I enjoyed it. Oh! Yes. I was just... Cool. Cool. I'm getting... A little bit. Yes. I'm getting information that the other helicopter is locked and loaded and ready to go, and they're just waiting for the person in the back seat, and then they will be on their way to join us. And you are going to get to see what happens, but I am going to have to watch on the internet. I'm going to be a viewer just like everybody else. And also, we lost the IFB once again. If we can get a nod to our friends in TOC to reset it, would be awesome. I'll do Skyvox, TOC, we lost the IFB, and still no IFB. Come on. There we go. Definitely. No end in sight, indeed. And as far as all those hand gestures go, like I said, piano, guitar, anything. I mean, it's like my wrists are kind of hurting just watching all of that activity. And it really, truly has been nonstop. He's been communicating the entire time. He's been driving. One-handed, two-handed. It has been non-stop. As far as California Highway Patrol, non-stop for them as well. They have done a little swapping out right there. Those SUVs that did that pit maneuver, they've kind of fallen back. They've got two cruisers now behind it. Where are we? We're on the South 710. I was going to say, that's also probably not the best choice. I could have told you there's going to be traffic here, and there definitely is. But when he's driving slow like that, traffic could actually get ahead of him if it was moving faster than he is, and it's not. I mean, take a look at that. Some of these vehicles moving super, super slow. I know because we are definitely a good family out here at Fox. Had Kevin whispering in my ear, not like that, and saying, hey, you got a fixed wing, a CHP fixed wing flying over us also. So they've got two aircraft, or it's LAPD following along. They've got their helicopter. Just CHP. Yeah. So and you got a plane up high. So they're the ones that are keeping an eye on this. They probably are thinking this might make its way back to Fontana. That's why they incorporated that aircraft as well, meaning the plane, not the helicopter. As far as him going slow, like I said, he's probably been listening to us, because there you go. And here's the thing. Here's the crux, isn't it? Look at that. Look at that. You know, get your ducks in a row. Get there. Pit them. You could. No, they didn't. But anyways, yeah, and he got that freeway wide open for him there for a minute or two. So as long as he's up close to these other vehicles, I'm pretty sure they're definitely not going to. Yeah, he wasn't. But you know, again, am I making excuses for law enforcement? I'm gonna make an excuse for law enforcement. I'm gonna throw it out there. Here we go. Maybe they didn't do it because they didn't want to have an incident on the freeway blocking all lanes on the southbound 710, because they want to keep the traffic moving the best they can. Right? Yes. 2 hours plus. Yeah, that would have been brutal. This probably wouldn't have taken 2 hours, but it would have taken some time. Anyways, I don't know if that was the reason, or perhaps it was something else. But, you know, they didn't take advantage of it. And, of course, there's probably some sort. Yeah, they know the reason why. We can only guess. That's probably where it goes with all of this. As far as that suspect, we can only guess what he's doing, too. He is just going to be kind of moving along here very slowly, like he has been. The stop-and-go activity continues. And again, no, I put money on that. He's just, he literally is doing the, I know I'm going to jail. I'm just going to do as much of this as I can until this truck runs out of gas or something happens and it comes to a stop. But these guys right here, you got it. I'm pretty sure this guy has been with it for a good amount of time, probably almost as long as we have, and you've got to think he's frustrated as well, especially with that clean pit and then not being able to bring it to a stop. Looks like we are doing something different. Yeah. Don't you hate it when people get in the gore point like that and then just kind of push their way in front of you? You're just like, come on, man. Was that you, Aroxia? Was it? Yeah, well, I hear you. Did you apologize, though? Were you like doing, excuse me, sorry? That's the way, too. I usually apologize. I try to do the wave, you know, the friendly wave, you know, tell somebody thank you. But yeah, this guy, yeah. There you go. Yeah. Okay, so for you, Aroxia, right? Gosh, I'm telling you, my fingers are hurting just watching it. It's not. You think I'm being sarcastic or joking? I'm being serious. That hurts. But I can tell you, the other our relief is en route. So it's probably just their flight time to get here. So, but now Dylan's saying that it's getting down to the wire for us. So we might have to leave in between. I don't want to leave you here all by yourself, just you're having to talk to everybody. Okay, all right. So, yeah, we'll kind of. Well, yeah, I was going to say we'll bail at the same time. But the pursuit continues, and if you know anybody that's on the 710, you let them know. Text them. Say, hey, don't look at your text. Hopefully you have a car that does hands-free, and you can let them know that there's a pursuit coming your way. And don't try to videotape it because that's not good either. Definitely. But he continues with that weird jerking of the wheel, back and forth, doing the washing machine in there. I don't know what he's thinking. But look, everybody. They're asking for a recap. So if you guys are watching right now, what's going on is this is Pursuit. Started in Fontana, carjacking vehicle. Been on the freeways for most of the time, but did make its way all the way into the downtown Los Angeles area. We were in a lot of tight streets. There was a lot of slow moving, a lot of hand gestures, and all that damage you see right there, that was from a pit maneuver. It was clean, it was sweet, and it was perfect. But that suspect basically put it in reverse and made that move and got away. That pursuit continued on off the side streets, clearly back onto freeways. We've seen the 10, we've seen the 5, we've seen the 101, and now we're on the 710 South. This pursuit's continuing, though. California Highway Patrol, they're the ones that have taken it over. Fontana PD, they are still with it. They're going to be the ones that take that suspect into custody. No injuries as of yet. Hopefully it stays like that. That suspect continues to elude officers and basically, I would say, doing some showboating. That's my recap. We're going to go to Long Beach? All right, we'll stay for a little bit. Yes, definitely, Marla. I'm sorry. Yeah, we definitely can hear you. And and we're going to make our way down to Long Beach. So you're going to have us for just a little bit longer, if you like. But we're definitely going to make our way down to Long Beach. That's what we're going to get some fuel. And I just got a text from Tim Conway Jr., basically saying he's watching it and he feels my pain not being able to see the end of this, and he's hoping it's going to be coming to an end as well. But yeah, that damage that you see right there, that's what you were talking about. That was the pit maneuver, and if you watched it, it was nice, wasn't it? It was just perfect, and just not what we wanted to see though. The guy getting in that, putting it in reverse. Oh, what's he doing right now? Maybe we are. No, I thought we were going to see the end right there. Yeah. More cat and mouse. More. Okay, sure. Oh! I can pretty much confirm that it is just the driver inside that vehicle. We've looked around. Somebody's going to say, "Well, there's tinted windows. There could be somebody laying down." There could be. There could be a lot of things. But as far as another person inside that vehicle, I would say 99.99% there is just the driver. The pit maneuver was actually done by that, not that one. I wonder if they're even still here. It was one of the big Tahoes, and it was on the surface streets in downtown. There was one of these right there. There was definitely a canine unit. And it was really, like I said, as far as execution, it was perfect. There was really no skidding, no nothing, and it just was that bump, and the other car came alongside. They did the block in, but they didn't. Nobody was behind it, and the driver, it did stop for a few moments there, and then the driver just kind of threw it in reverse and then got out of it. I know we're streaming right now, so turning tape might be difficult, or we don't do it, but at any rate, it was really something to see. Stay tuned, watch for the later shows. You're definitely going to see it. But as far as that driver, he's just been driving really slow. He's been doing a lot of these hand gestures out of the windows. Like I said, he should have been a guitarist or maybe played piano. The movement has been non-stop since we picked this up almost more than an hour ago. When the window's up right now, I venture to say he's not doing those hand movements. But look at that, just driving kind of slow, like you said, cat and mouse. The officers, me being frustrated, probably not that important. Those officers being frustrated, I feel their pain, especially some of the ones that have basically been with it since the beginning. And Fontana PD, they are trailing behind, and they are going to take this guy into custody. They're the ones that are going to be wind up doing the actual custody, the paperwork, as it would be when it comes to a stop. I'm looking for them. They got to be around somewhere. As far as the, go ahead. As far, it's funny. As far as policy goes, the way it's always been explained to me is there is no multitask pursuit. It's either one or the other. So Fontana probably would have had to say we're giving the pursuit to the California Highway Patrol, but they can track behind, and when it's over, they can kind of pull up and say, all right, we'll take the suspect back to Fontana. We'll do the paperwork. But as far as the actual chase goes, as I always was told, one agency. And if we get a law enforcement person on board, maybe Tim, the other Tim Lynn might call in. He can clarify that. But as far as it goes, that's the way it's always been explained to me. It's like one agency, one pursuit, one agency. Yes. Yep, the Long Beach. Yeah, it's the Long Beach exit. We're definitely in Compton. I do love the Compton. Got to give a shout out to Miss Bucky. She's probably not watching on the internet, but I got family out here. Anyways, we'll see where this goes. Definitely slow moving, but that doesn't mean it's coming to an end. This guy's been driving slow the whole time. Maybe he was trying to conserve fuel. You know what fuel prices are. Even if you stole it, you just got to be careful. Again, almost stopping right there. Is he teasing us? Is he teasing the law enforcement? Or is he just kind of doing the, I don't know which way to go. But there he goes again. Now we're off driving once again, making our way on the surface streets. I got the streets up right there, yeah. So definitely not getting onto Long Beach Boulevard. And we're going to just keep, it definitely seems to be very industrial. This is, and I don't know if you were watching earlier on, but there you go, wrong side of the road. That's not unusual for him. Red lights, he has stopped at some. He ran through a couple of others. I haven't seen any close calls, but definitely a lot. Go ahead. We have heard pretty clear in the very, very beginning, no weapons seen. That's the best that they can say because you just don't know. But no weapons seen, and that's kind of what led me to believe that maybe the crime of opportunity. We don't know how this vehicle was taken. Maybe it was a strong arm. Maybe this guy came up, threatened the guy. Maybe there was a physical altercation. I don't know. But, a lot of times this is just somebody's, keys are in it, sitting at the gas station, guy jumps in, takes off. Is that a carjacking? I don't know. I don't know I don't know the legal. I don't know the legal differences, but it could be. You look at how close he's getting. Look at how close they're all getting. It's like a pack of wolves chasing a wounded sheep. It's like, are they gonna pounce? Are they gonna do it? This would be the place, but he has to be moving. Yeah. Well, yeah, I can say that there's agencies, different agencies, and they all have a different policy. They have different bosses that they have to answer to. Maybe theirs is saying, hey, don't do it again. Or I think more logically would be the vehicle has to be moving at a certain speed. It has to be going fast enough for it to slide. When it's moving slow like that, maybe it's not enough speed to get it to spin that tail around. Maybe there isn't enough room for another officer to get around it to block it in. Maybe they're like, okay, the guy knows you can use reverse. Let's block the back this time around. There's a lot going on down there. When we watch these, it's always easy to armchair it. And these guys, they've got to answer for all their actions, much like I do sometimes. But these guys, it's much more serious. Whatever they do, they're going to have to answer for it. And even if it's successful, if it's outside of policy, they could get in trouble. I know, it sounds ludicrous, but that is the world we live in, and that is the world of law enforcement. I wonder if that's going to inspire that young lad to be an officer someday. Anyways, they're just going right by him, and it is a spectacle of some point. We can poke a lot of fun at these things, but it is definitely still very, very dangerous. We pointed this out earlier on. This guy could, hammer that gas or not pay attention. Somebody could step out in front of it. It could come to a tragic end very, very quickly, and that is one of the reasons why we always have to have some sort of composure when we watch these pursuits and talk about them. So slow moving. And this is the first time I've actually seen him in a neighborhood. This is so unusual. And it's trash day for sure. But it makes you wonder if maybe he knows this area, maybe this is his location, because a lot of times when these chases go to a neighborhood like this, that vehicle, they'll throw it in park, the door will pop open, or not throw it in park, and the door will pop open, and they'll take off running. This could be what's going on right here. They have 2 K9 units behind there, and I'm being told Dylan is being very polite and saying, Stu, if you start wrapping it up, we need to go to Long Beach for fuel. So I'm going to start to wrap it up. I'm going to hand it off to you. I'm sure I'm handing it to capable hands, that's for sure. And I just want to see how this ends. Thank goodness for that. Anyways, no, thank you for that. All right, we're going to go. We're going to go, and we're going to hand it off to our PM colleagues. See you guys later. You too. All right. All right. Don't. Look at that, spike strips, spike strips, spike strips. Oh, don't throw him again, get him under the back, Oh, look, they blocked him. They blocked him. Oh, I am going to get to see the end. No, I don't want to go. Can we stay? Can we? Oh, oh, oh. Yes, yes, yes. So, yeah, you still have us, and I'm telling you, I just wanted to see this thing come to an end. The reverse lights are off. That's a big plus. Probably putting it in the park. I see some hands coming out. You have to understand, we kind of fell farther behind the pack, so this is kind of a little bit of a long shot. But definitely wanted to see this come to an end, and you got to hand it to them. You got to hand it to California Highway Patrol. They did it. They did it, and they did it safely and calmly. You got some folks out there in Compton. Everybody's got a cell phone. Everybody's got to see this thing coming to an end. This one coming to an end in front of their house out here in this Compton neighborhood. Actually, Linwood. Okay, got to give Linwood a shout out. But the door's definitely open, and he is kind of doing his own thing. Dog! Oh, they used the dog! Oh, yes. Oh, the canine came out. Man, that dog has been riding Marla pretty much for over an hour. So, he needed to stretch his legs. Yeah, literally. Canine was deployed, and yep. And you know what? You have to take the other shot. I love you guys, but we definitely have to go. Dylan is like, we're totally at the end of the lens, but we saw it come to an end, and that's what I needed to do. Thank you, guys. Another pursuit in the bag. Okay, cool. Right? The pursuit gods smiled on me today. We didn't get to see the dog really, but I saw that the dog was there. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. I thought he was trying to tell the other guys he was going to throw. I thought he was going to throw the spike strips behind him, like back up. Oh.
check. Okay.